let's move on to some more optimistic news that I like more. Um, this is nothing new, but the source that it's coming from is rather interesting. So a few weeks back, we talked about Michael B. Jordan was in the running to direct Creed 3, the next installment in the beloved Rocky franchise. Well, and now it's been seemingly confirmed from an unlikely source that he is, in fact, directing Creed 3, as it seems Tessa Thompson herself, co-star of these Creed movies, has said that, yes, he will be, in fact, directing the next installment of Creed. I'm all on board for this. I just think it's odd that, like, she's the one that comes out with this knowledge. I'm like, were you supposed to say that? Were you allowed to say that? And you said it anyway? But, thanks for confirming it for us, because, like, we kind of speculated that it might be happening, and I remember saying back then, and as I said again now, this is a great choice, I think, because over the past few years, Michael B. Jordan has been taking more and more of an active role in behind-the-scenes stuff as well as in front of the camera. He's been producing stuff. He's a producer on the upcoming Static Shock movie that's in development. That's probably going to HBO Max. I like this idea of him being a director now, but what's even better is he's being a director on not necessarily a big movie. Like, the Rocky franchise is a big franchise, but they don't necessarily make the most amount of money. So there's less risk here than, say, if he's directing the next Avengers movie. This has a medium-sized budget, but it's also a franchise that he knows well now. He's starred in 2 movies with Sylvester Stallone, so he's been able to pick the brain of Sly, who's directed his fair share of Rocky movies, and he can kind of know what the franchise is, how to manage it the best, but also put his own spin on it. I think this is nothing but good news. Michael, what are you thinking? What do you think about the Creed movies? What do you think about him directing the next one?
I'm all for it. I've actually really enjoyed this franchise. Ryan Coogler did such a great job in the first Creed. Had some of the best long takes and actual like transitions that I've ever seen. The entrance scene between Creed and I can't Ricky Conlon in the first one just gives me chills the way it was shot. And the second film did not have a quality dip. I still like the first one more, but it didn't suffer from a sequelitis. It actually kept me engaged, and it told a different story because of a different story team. And this, I think, is going to be just as strong. And I honestly, I can't wait. This is definitely going to be something I'm going to see in the theaters. And I regret not seeing Creed 2 and supporting that film in theaters because I was a little skeptical, and I've learned my lessons. So I'm 100% on board, and good for him. I totally agree that this is a third movie in a series, like you said, mid-budget, mid-tier. It's not a blockbuster. It's a good place to get your feet wet because you have experience on set. You know the characters. I trust him. I love the relationship between Creed and I can't remember her name, Tessa Thompson's character. I think they'll continue to explore the relationship between those two, and with Michael B. Jordan behind the camera. I trust that he'll be able to direct himself and maybe take the character that we know a little bit further, just a little bit further as Adonis, and get more of the humanity behind him and his actions and how he relates to the world, and maybe as an aging star on his way out, because they kind of hinted at kind of the repercussions, like what is he going to do as a father? You can't have brain damage. You can't deal with this your entire life. I want you to be here for our son. So like I think those themes are actually far more interesting to me than the actual fighting, and I really hope that someone like him can bring those kind of smaller moments more like to the forefront.
Yeah, believe it or not, I'm actually more of a fan of Creed 2 than Creed 1. I like them both, but I like Creed 2 a little bit more just because it felt more like a traditional Rocky story. Like, I did see it in theaters opening night with Heather, and when they play the traditional Rocky music when he finally knocks down Drago for the first time, I almost leapt out of my seat just going, heck yeah, this is what I know and love. Also, can we bring back Drago for the next Creed movie, please? But not as an enemy, like how in the original Rocky movies we had Apollo and Rocky square off and then they became friends. Can we bring back Drago? Because I thought Florian wow, I've always can't pronounce his last name. The guy that played young Drago was phenomenal. I actually thought he was really, really good and brought a certain amount of empathy to the character. Like, I never truly hated him. I understood where he was coming from, and he was able to express a lot of emotion with just his facial expressions. Another reason why I'm such a big fan of Michael B. Jordan taking over this franchise is, thus far with the Creed franchise, it's been Rocky, but with a very distinctly African American director's mind. We had Ryan Coogler with the first one, who did Fruitvale Station, Black Panther. You had Stephen Caple Jr. doing the second one. Now he's moved on to a Transformers movie. Now with Michael B. Jordan, I like seeing groups of people that had not previously been able to tell their stories in theaters be able to tell their stories now, of how Michael B. Jordan approaches the story will be different than how Sylvester Stallone will approach the story. There's always a sense, I don't know how to put this as best as I can, but like, there's a different sense of the world and a different worldview in the Creed movies than there are in the Rocky world, of Rocky being a white guy that kind of quickly establishes wealth, to Adonis more or less comes from nothing, and kind of his view of the world from the other side of the train tracks type of situation. And I think that's a theme that will continue in the next one, and I really applaud that. And I like that that's a big thing that makes Creed different than Rocky, I think, is its sense of voice. And I love the voice that Creed has in all of its movies. And I look forward to that continuing. I just hope they stay to the quality that they are, because I just love this franchise and I would like to see them continue. But please, 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 and this will always be a concern, in Rocky 3, Rocky witnesses Mickey, his trainer, die. Please, 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 Michael B. Jordan, do not kill off Rocky. Please do not do that. We gave him good closure in Creed 2. You don't have to have him in the movie at all, but if you do, please don't kill him. We got dangerously close in Creed 1. My heart cannot handle Rocky dying. He's the most pure man in the world. He can lift Thor's hammer if he really wanted to. He's that pure. Please do not kill Rocky.
Hmm. Yeah, I couldn't agree more. And I'll just make a distinction that, yeah, the differences between the characters and the backgrounds. And what's interesting about Adonis is that he foregoes all of the riches that his father left him and his mother, and he wants to make it, him by himself, and he moves, across the country to just be with himself, and like willingly subjects himself to a more impoverished, state, because he's so adamant, like, this is going to be me. I'm not going to live in the shadow of my father. And then, that's that transition of not seeing that as a shameful thing, but then kind of growing into it. That is what I thought was probably the most appealing aspect of the first film, is somebody who's so headstrong, like, I'm going to do it this way, but then realizing that maybe that's not the most wise choice. And that I found incredibly human.
I don't think I've ever seen that attribute in you whatsoever, Michael. Of headstrongness and stubborn, I will do this my way.
It's relatable. That's what I'm saying. I really enjoyed the first part. So.